But CC, you convinced that the Patriots are now the Patriots that we've come to know, or did they just go up against a pretty bad team?
Well, the Patriots we come to know. If you're a football fan, and especially of the Patriots, you have to realize their teams go through phases. There's no organization that's better at peaking late in the season. Say after Thanksgiving, those games are the most important games. So this team will evolve. There are some clear holes and concerns that I have with New England. Their overall health of their wide receivers. Like Amendola was out this week. They only had 3 healthy wide receivers. And Hogan, he got banged up during the game. So how do they get productivity out of the 3 wide receivers? Because they're going to throw the ball. They have thrown the ball the last 5 years far more than any other New England teams that we've seen. They are a passing team. So I get worried about that. Their best wide receiver, tight end, or catcher is Gronk. He gets nicked in the game. Now, Gronk looks himself with repetitions. I thought that he would be back as the most dominant tight end, but he didn't make it through the whole game. So now if you take all these weapons away, New England does not have a great offensive line. But they do have Tom Brady. And that's where we were able to see yesterday that Tom Brady is better than especially, New Orleans. Mike, you talking about Christmas gift wrapped.
Well, there you go.
They've been one of the worst defenses the last 5 years. So you give them 10 days to prepare, the attitude that getting embarrassed at home against Kansas City, all these things coupled with their secondary still didn't match up. Like they didn't, even with the injured New England. So New England, this is what I expected. Like after last week when everyone was Brady's done, Gronk is washed. This defense is not that good. They can't rush the passer.
So this guy, you had the hard time.
Yeah, they're right back on schedule for 12-4,
okay.
Just like I had predicted.
All right, we'll see about the 12-4. This game went the way everyone on the show said it would go. And this game also tells me almost nothing about New England moving forward. The competition matters. And New Orleans is historically bad defensively. We saw Sam Bradford in a game that at some point he got injured in. Injured bad. He played that whole game against New England. So at some point he was playing with a knee that was bad enough to keep him out of week 2. And he put up the best game of his career. I have right here, this is every quarterback in the last 4 years, the print so small you can't even see it, who's had close to career highs or career highs against New England, or against New Orleans, pardon me. It includes greats such as Jared Goff, Brandon Weeden, Brian Hoyer, and Blake Bortles. So the only thing, and this might sound unfair, but it's the reality, we were only going to learn something.
Anytime you couch something with it might be unfair.
I didn't say it might be unfair. I said it might sound unfair. To the layman, to the uneducated man,
good.
It might sound as if I'm being unfair, but it's the reality. The only thing we could learn from this game about the Pats offense was if it struggled. Because if you struggle against that defense, Cris, you called me during the game. Jenna, we didn't get together during the game. However, we did.
We
did have a conversation. And
I did text you.
I apologize. We were discussing at halftime just how many times Patriot players are running wide open. That how many times there was a play that Tom Brady underthrew a ball badly that ended up being a 40-yard gain. Otherwise, it would have been a touchdown. Now, what I did take away from this game was the Patriots' defense already has made significant improvements. Holding New Orleans to 20 points matters. That New Orleans offense still can move the football. But putting up 400 yards passing against the Saints, you know what you call that? Sunday afternoon in New Orleans. Like, that's what teams do. This has been the worst, one of the 2 worst defenses 4 of the last 5 years, and this is going to continue.
Right, but one of the problems we had with Brady last week was he had plenty of time to throw, and he was off target. So it doesn't matter who you're playing against. The question was Tom Brady. Did Tom Brady look like himself? When guys weren't even open, when his pocket was collapsing, Tom Brady was as good as we expect Tom Brady to be.
Not to mention the fact he's lost almost all his targets. And the targets he did have are all banged up and injured. He doesn't have the wide receiver coming in that he was used to all year.
Yes.
The tight end that he is just an automatic was obviously nicked up and had to leave. Hogan was a little nicked up by the end of the game. So these guys are dropping, and he's still hitting targets. What I found interesting was we were all talking about whether or not Tom Brady reads what people write about him and what people were saying about him all week. And what made me believe he does is the fact that this guy came out on a mission. He was running up and down that sideline, talking to every facet of this team. He talked to the defense. He was, rallying special teams.
Yes.
He was into it. We didn't see that last week. This is a guy who knew what was at stake here. I thought this was the perfect game for them. This was a palate cleanser for the New England Patriots. Come out, do what you do. Yeah, the competition may not have been up here, but I think they needed a win like this.
Of course they needed it, but it was. And your point's well taken, Jenna, but it was, you're right, the perfect situation. The Patriots play on Thursday. The Saints play on Monday. The Patriots are coming up from a game against Kansas City where they really had to answer some questions about what was going on. New Orleans dealing with locker room strife with Adrian Peterson. This was a game, we knew how this was going to go. We knew the Patriots were going to put up a bunch of points. I will be interested to see what Tom Brady and the Patriots do next couple weeks. Two good defenses, Houston and Carolina. Then we can revisit it. You mentioned people were saying Gronk is washed. I don't know if people were saying Gronk is washed. What I was saying is I wonder if Gronk's body is giving up on it. And in this game, he was very productive. He also left it with an injury. Like, that's an enormous but for the Patriots moving forward. How badly is Gronk's groin injured?
Well, what's compounded is they've already lost,
Julian Edelman.
So
and Amendola.
they can't afford another loss of one of their frontline offensive weapons. Last year, Gronk was out. They were able to put the offense together. How'd they do it? By throwing to their backs more. But if they lose Gronk, all right, we've already lost their most reliable and probably the most reliable slot receiver. How would they do it? See, we don't know that. See, now they don't have the cushion. So week in and week out, the injury report, it's very, very important. All right, Dante Hightower didn't play in this game.
Right. That's another reason the defense was so impressive.
Also, their special teams, Matthew Slater, all pro for a number of years, hadn't played, had a bad hamstring throughout training camp. So their special teams start to suffer. So as we start to see this, it's going to be a battle of attrition. So I like the way New England, because this is how they respond to losses. It's nice to have someone like New Orleans, but when playing, it's amazing how we discredit playing good. Oh, they're professionals though over there. Oh, they're being paid a lot of money. So it only really counts if Tom Brady plays bad. Like if it plays bad and then we come back, oh, well, Tom Brady, now he's washed up. Well, you have to make up your mind.
Well,
all right, because they are NFL teams. They are on the schedule. So when they play Buffalo, you're going to say they're not tested. Miami, they're not tested.
Buffalo's got a good defense.
Because this is the same argument people have year after year because the AFC East has been so weak.
But the question is not whether or not Tom Brady is a terrible quarterback. The question is whether or not he's deteriorated enough to where they can't win a Super Bowl. Week 1 looked like that was true.
Right.
New Orleans maybe, we'll see.
So we give Sam Bradford credit. Oh, you played great against New Orleans, but Tom Brady, that's New Orleans.
They're held to different standards, Bradford and Brady. You know that.
We're going to keep it there before the control room literally takes my microphone off.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.